Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Shivaya Namah. 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Shivaya Om. Om Namah Shivaya Om. Shivaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Namah Shivaya. Namah
कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। जय शिवोंकार भज शिवोंकार ब्रह्म विष्णु सदाशिव हर शिव महादेव हर शिव महादेव हर हर महादेव। हर हर महादेव शंभो काशीनाथ परमात्मने नमः परब्रह्मणे नमः। As we regard the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most important scriptures in the entire range of Hindu spiritual literature, religious literature, even so the Buddhist regard this little book, the way of the law or way of righteousness, collection of sermons by Buddha, originally noted down in Pali language, and then later on translated into English. Pali is in relation to Sanskrit what Italian would be in relation to Latin. To the original classical Latin language, the nearest approach is Italian. Though practically all the European languages have much in their vocabulary that derive from Latin, but nearest is Italian. In the same way, just as Hindi is to Sanskrit, in ancient India, Pali was to Sanskrit. The normal man in the street did not know Sanskrit because it was a scholar's language. But they all spoke Pali, which was also called in those days Prakrit. Prakrit. If the masters of an aristocratic family spoke and conversed in Sanskrit, all the servants spoke in Prakrit. It was the market language. And so, the aristocratic family people had no Prakriti in order to deal with the lesser the class of people. And it's very curious, in classical Sanskrit dramatic works, the upper class actors, they spoke in Sanskrit. And when a servant entered in a scene, she spoke in Pali. And so the Sanskrit dramatist had to put her words in Pali to be realistic. She could not be expected to speak in Sanskrit. So in classical Sanskrit drama, we have both these tongues mixed together. And this was in Pali because Buddha preached to the ordinary people of the rural areas, that they were not highly educated. And so, dharma in Sanskrit becomes dhamma, dhamma in Pali. Patha in Sanskrit becomes pada. Dharma patha, the way of the law, way of dharma, becomes dhamma pada. Dhamma pada. Words about truth, satya vakya, or the section on truth, satya varga. Here in Pali it will be vagga, V-A-G. And I came across a very nice, interesting edition. The original in Pali, but not in Pali script. Original utterances in the Pali language, retaining the original in the Pali language, but script is modern Hindi or Sanskrit, what they call Devanagari. So you can read it. So the language is Pali. Then the same original transliterated, the Pali original translated in English alphabet. So those who do not know the Sanskrit alphabet can still read the original Pali in the Pali language because the script is English alphabet and then the English meaning. English meaning. Very interesting edition. It's all brought out by the Buddhistic Society of India. Nirvana. Nirvana. In Pali language it is called Nibbana. N-I-B-B-A-N-A. I thought I will take up some little, each chapter deals with one specific topic. One specific topic. And I thought I will select some topics. But I think it is so interesting. It is a great education to go through this book. And about this, the law laid down in this little book. Some other scripture says, no village law is this, no city law, neither an urban metropolitan law. No law for this clan or for that alone. It is not something applicable to this clan or that clan. See? For the whole world. Hey, and even for the gods in heaven. This is the law. So what is its supremacy? How highly they regard it. And be it woman, be it man, for whom such chariot doth wait, by that same car into Nirvana's presence shall they come, if they follow this law. The word Dhammapada has been interpreted in various ways. The word Dhamma itself is a difficult word to translate, for there is no word in the English language comprehensive or wide enough to include the meanings of Pali word Dhamma. Just as Gurudev said in, I think, morning's reading from Voice of the Himalayas. He said, Bhagavad Gita, he said, Dharma has no equivalent in any other way. That which supports, that which sustains. Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Dhamma in a special sense refers to the doctrine of the Buddha. Dhamma in a special sense refers to the doctrine of the Buddha. In a wider sense, it means religion, it means virtue, it means righteousness, and also it means the norm. That is the moral standard or the ethical norm. In stanza 169 of the Dhammapada, we find even a much narrower meaning, especially for the bhikkhus, the begging around of the Buddhist mendicant friar. That is called the way, the path he has to take every day. Pada also is capable of various translations. It means footstep, it means path, it means verse, it means basis, and so forth. Hence the compound word Dhammapada has been translated by various scholars as footsteps of religion, sentences of religion, a collection of verses on Dhamma, and the path of virtue. Path of virtue is the best. The last would perhaps be the most appropriate, but for the fact that the Vishuddhamagga, that is Vishuddhamarga, the pure way. Vishuddhamagga may also be translated as the path of virtue. It is one part of it, the path of purity. The Dhammapada, though a work of small proportions, is one of the greatest books of the Buddhist world and occupies in Buddhism the same unique position as the Bhagavad Gita does in Hinduism. Both volumes contain terse and crisp, concise and sometimes cryptic stanzas, the elucidation of some of which has baffled even the greatest of scholars. Like the Bhagavad Gita, the Dhammapada enjoys a popularity which is daily growing. Like the Bhagavad Gita, which embodies the essence of Hinduism, Dhammapada gives in outline the Buddha's teachings on the ethical and practical side, a fact which makes it a constant guide and companion to the student of Buddhism. Many a convert to Buddhism traces his or her conversion to the Dhammapada. Like the Bhagavad Gita, Dhammapada has a host of translators. So early as 1885, Fausbol, the Danish scholar, gave to the world not only the text of the Dhammapada in Roman characters, but also a translation in Latin, 1885. It was translated into Latin. It was a piece of real scholarship was hailed with true delight by all lovers of Pali literature. Thereafter, other translations appeared by Weber in Germany, by Max Muller in England, by F. Hu in France. After some time and at short intervals, further translations appeared by James Gray, K. E. Neumann, Samuel Beal, A. J. Edmonds, F. L. Woodward, K. J. Saunders, and Pandit Vagishwara Bhikkhu Chilakara, and Dr. C. Burlingame, and lastly by Mrs. Rhys Davids. Rhys Davids was a famous Indologist. R.H.Y.S. Davids, Mrs. Rhys Davids. The present translation of the Bhagavad Gita is intended for the ordinary reader, and it is hoped it will be appreciated by such. Grateful mention must be made of the revered Surya Goda Sumangala, now Mr. S. Surya Goda B.A., who first taught me the rudiments of Pali language, and of revered Morantu Duve Dhammananda Nayaka Thero, Vice Principal of Vidyodaya Paivena, Colombo, whose work, Sadharma Kaumadi, has been of invaluable assistance to me. Thanks are due to the revered Narad Thero, one of the most important Buddhist monks of recent times. He is no more now. Thanks are due to the revered Narad Thero, who has perused the translation and made useful emendations and added notes, and last but not least to the publishers, who readily undertook to publish the work at their expenses as a companion volume to their Bhagavad Gita. November 1934, and the translator wants to remain anonymous, so he has just put his initials, S.W.W. No, translated from the original Pali by S.W. Vijaytilake. Vijaytilake.
Ceylonese.
Yes. And at that time, this edition which I purchased when I was in high school, it was published, it was 8 annas. 8 annas would be equivalent to less than 5 cents. Because today, $1 American is 15 rupees.
17 now.
I don't know. Usually we say 15. And 8 anna is half a rupee. So if it is 15 rupees, 8 anna is 1 by 30th. 1 by 20th of $1 is 5 cents. 1 by 30th, I think 3 cents around. 3 cents around. 1934. The publishers will be glad to quote special terms to principals of colleges, headmasters of high schools, secretaries of institutions, and associations and reading rooms, and to private individuals interested in the circulation of this great and unique book. Mr. G. Annotation and co-publishers. So he starts systematically. He was an unknown publisher of religious books, G. Annotation. Very old. Before the Theosophical publications came into being. One of the earliest translations of the Bhagavad Gita made by Dr. Annie Besant. This G. Annotation published the first translation for 4 annas. Bhagavad Gita with English translation was available at 4 annas, 1/4 of a rupee. And at today's rate it would be 1/60th of a dollar.
And it contains an introduction to Sanskrit grammar also. It contains an introduction to the Sanskrit grammar also.
Which one? The original Annie Besant. Dhammapada, the way of truth. Homage to the Supremely Enlightened One. Chapter 1. Yamaka Vagga, or about the pairs. In all states, mind is the forerunner. Mind is the chief. Mind is the causer. Therefore, should one speak or do a thing with an evil mind, see, mind is the cause of all things, all human experiences. Therefore, should one speak or do a thing with an evil mind, thereupon sorrow pursues him. If one has an impure mind and goaded by it, he does something, he may be sure sorrow pursues him. Karma and karma phala. And he brings out a very peculiar analogy to explain how it pursues him. Absolutely, you cannot escape it. More than 2,500 years ago. See? So he can take an analogy only from that time. Thereupon sorrow pursues him like unto the cart wheel they draft ox's foot. And a wheel is hitched on to oxes. Oxes start going. Surely, certainly, the wheel keeps on following the footsteps of the ox. And when they cross it. You cannot. In all states, once again, here, state means mental the condition of the inner being. In all states, mind is the forerunner. Mind is the chief. This was Buddha's style, repeating the same thing again and again. Mind is the causer. Therefore, should one speak or do a thing with a pure mind, thereupon happiness follows him, like unto the shadow that never departs. It will always follow you. Even so, happiness will follow the one who does something or speaks something with a pure mind. Sorrow inevitably follows the one who does something or speaks something with a not pure mind, impure mind. He abused me. He beat me. That man defeated me. He robbed me. Those who harp on such thoughts, they never pacify their hatred. It will go on keeping growing. If you keep on not forget, they keep on harping upon these thoughts. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. Those who don't harp on such thoughts always pacify their hatred. So he gives a psychological law. If you don't want hatred to keep eating you, forget. Don't keep on brooding upon it. Here in this world, this is a great thing. He says, here in this world, anger is never pacified by anger. By non-anger is anger pacified. This is the ancient law. Others don't realize that we shall here one day die. Others don't realize that we shall here one day die. In those who thus realize, all strife is at an end. The one who realizes, after all, what is the use of my creating enmity and unnecessarily having ill with her? Who knows? Little time I have to be here and one day I have to go. While I am here, let me at least have peace for myself, peace for others. So why I should unnecessarily create ill will? So one who knows that one day we have to go, he shall not unnecessarily get involved into hatred, clash, conflict, disharmony, discord, strife and all that. It's not worthwhile. This is what he says. Others don't realize that we shall here one day die. In those who thus realize, all strife is at an end. To really seriously realize. It's not worthwhile. Little while we are here, tomorrow we die. Having known the real as the real, having known the unreal as the unreal, whoso lives in right-mindedness attains the truth. Just as rain pierces through an ill-thatched roof. The roof is not well thatched. Leak, it will start leak. Just as the rain pierces through an ill-thatched roof, likewise passion breaks through an uncultivated mind. Just as rain does not pierce through a well-thatched roof, ill-thatched roof, well-thatched roof, likewise passion does not break through a cultivated mind, well-cultivated mind. If you are trained and disciplined your mind, it can withstand the gusts of passion and carnal lust, etc. He has a peculiar style. In the present, he grieves. In the present, he grieves. In the future, he will grieve. Here and hereafter, the evil liver grieves. It doesn't merely say evil doer, but evil liver. One lives in a wrong way. Seeing the results of his evil deeds, he grieves and suffers. In the present, he rejoices. In the future, he will rejoice. One who has done good rejoices in both worlds. Seeing the result of his good deeds, he rejoices and is glad. Here he repents, there he repents. So the evildoer repents in both worlds. I have done ill. That thought afflicts him. Much more is the affliction that awaits him, who is hellward bound. Here he is happy, there he is happy. The virtuous man is happy in both worlds. I have done good. That thought makes him happy. Much more is the happiness that awaits him, who is heavenward bound. He who does good, he who does evil. He who is hellward bound is heavenward bound. He who does good, he who does evil. It is the ethical level. Even in the ethical level, the doer of good rejoices. What to say if he takes to the spiritual path? Is there any limit to his rejoicing? He is happy here, there he is happy. The virtuous man is happy in both worlds. I have done good, that thought makes him happy. Much more is the happiness that awaits him who is heavenward bound. If a man is indolent in living according to the Dhamma, the teachings of Buddha, heedless, lazy, lethargic, doesn't want to exert in living according to. If a man is indolent in living according to Dhamma, he talks much about it. He is like a cowherd who looks after others' cattle. His profession is to take other people's cattle to the pasture and graze them and bring them back. He cannot enjoy the milk of it, or the butter of it, or the yogurt. If a man is indolent in living according to Dhamma, he talks much about it. He is like unto a cowherd who looks after others' cattle. He is not worthy of being a monk of Buddha. If a man knows but little of the Dhamma, but lives according to that little which he knows, he, the wise man, freed from lust, anger and ignorance, his mind desiring nothing here or hereafter, he is worthy of being a monk of the Buddha. Appamadavagga. Pramada in Sanskrit means heedlessness. Pramada, heedlessness. Apramada means heedful, alert, vigilant. So he says, this chapter deals with the vigilant one, vigilance. Ceaseless perseverance is the way to deathlessness. Some famous writer in France has said, eternal vigilance is the prize of liberty. If you are slack, liberty won will go away also. Eternal vigilance is the prize of liberty. Ceaseless perseverance is the way to the deathlessness. Indolence is the way to death. Those who are ceaseless in perseverance never die. Those who are indolent are as it were already dead. The wise realizing this in full, the wise realizing this in full, being ceaseless in perseverance, rejoicing in persevering effort, thus take delight in the life of the noble ones. The wise, cultivating meditation and reflection, always supremely strenuous, touch the heaven, free from the storms of lust, the Nibbana, the abode of peace and happiness. Heaven means safe harbor. It's not heaven, heaven, safe harbor. H-A-V-N. The fame of one who is earnest and recollected and of good report, the fame of one who is earnest and recollected and of good report, one whose every deed is done after full reflection, whose senses are well collected, living according to the law, who is vigilant, the fame of such a one grows. Let the wise, by ceaseless effort, by vigilance, by self-restraint, and with senses well controlled, create such an island as the great flood may not overwhelm. The ignorant folk of little knowledge continue to be indolent. The wise protect vigilance as an excellent treasure. Do not continue in indolence. Do not give in to lust. One who is mindful and vigilant arrives at supreme happiness. Which means one who is not mindful and not vigilant, he courts sorrow. The wise man at one time or other, by the reason of his diligence, getting rid of his indolence and ascending the palace of wisdom, sorrowless, looks down on the sorrowing populace on the ground below, like unto a man on a hilltop looking down on those at the foot. The wise, diligent among the indolent, wide awake among the slumbering, like unto a fleet horse overtaking a lame one, goes past the indolent. It was by diligent effort that Maghahava, another name for Indra, it is by diligent effort that Indra attained supremacy among gods. Therefore, the wise praise diligence. Indolence is ever decried. Attached to diligence, seeing fear in indolence, the bhikkhu, burning all the great and small fetters by the fire of righteousness, goes towards nirvana. Attached to diligence, seeing fear in indolence, far from falling away, he is in the presence of Nibbana always. His liberation has already been attained. Two of these Bhagyas. There is some question on prana. Let us see. Very briefly, I will touch upon the I have a few questions about prana. Do some people have more prana than others? Basically, the answer is no. But in some people, the prana is very active and they have got great magnetism. In some people, due to greater proportion of tamas, the prana is, the quantum is the same, but prana not being very active is not utilized to the full potential. They do not have the same manifestation in terms of dynamism, efficiency, etc. It is how prana is being utilized. I understand there are different kinds of prana. That is, prana which controls our breathing, the prana which controls our chewing. Do sages have other types of prana not possessed by the ordinary individuals? No, sages are also human beings. They have the same prana, functioning in the same way. Only thing is they have got greater control over it. That's all. And the various pranas you will find in Gurudev's book, Science of Pranayama. There are 5 main pranas and then there are 5 lesser pranas. And the lesser pranas are called upapranas. See? Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. They are the main pranas, function constantly. But the lesser pranas, they do some very specialized occasional function. See? Digestion is also by prana. See? Apana is prana that moves downward in the lower portion of the body. Prana is that which moves in the upper portion of the body, controlling breathing, etc., swallowing, etc. Yes, you know, in the sages also prana is the same, but they have greater control. The prana of an ordinary person migrates with the subtle body at depth. What happens to the prana of a sage when he leaves his body? If he realizes sage, prana does not migrate with the body because he has no more need for it, there is no rebirth. The prana goes and merges in the cosmic prana. Everything merges in the cosmic counterpart. It does not go with the, for a sage who has realized. Does prana in a person decrease with age? The movement of prana decreases with age. The movement, efficient. Prana is pervading all over the body and it functions vigorously when the physical vehicle is a good vehicle, good field. The physical vehicle offers a good field. But as age declines the physical efficiency of the physical body, prana finds lesser scope for vigorously acting because the physical vehicle is not up to the mark. So it does not decline, but the vigor in which the prana operates and functions, that decreases because the physical vehicle does not offer a good medium for it, as deterioration, decay, and the enervation starts in the physical vehicle. That's what happens in old age. If not, why then is a young person able to be more active than an old person? Because I just now explained. When you speak of old age and all that, I remember something. He says, some wag or wise man said, those who do not wish to grow old may better give a thought to the alternative. Perhaps they will opt for old age. It is better to be. That is the only alternative. If you don't want to live and grow old, the alternative is not very attractive.
Many difficulties. You avoid many difficulties.
Yes, in one way. But why do you always think your old age should be fraught with difficulties? It may be a gracious old age, where you are able to enjoy it and make others also benefited. It all depends. 2 more questions to completely clarify ideas of prana. Is the prana that a person born with, is prana that a person is born with the same prana which stays with him through their life, or is there a continuous interchange with the environment? No, there is no interchange with the environment. The prana one person is born is the same. It does not change. It may get influenced by other factors, but the prana is the same. Because it is one sheath. See? And so you should not, breath becomes interchangeable. See? not prana. It is too subtle and too inside to be influenced by it. Breath does interchange with the environment. Is physical energy what we measure in calories or joules? Joules, I think, is a French measure. Calories. A form of prana? Certainly. All energy is a manifestation of prana. See? There is no energy which is not part of prana. Energy in food, energy in muscles, energy in thought, energy in intellect, energy of digestion, energy of every function that happens which requires energy, movement. All are manifestation of prana. Other than prana, there is no function of any energy in any part of our body. All aspects of energy are manifestation of prana. Could you please speak some more about duty? You make it sound so easy, but it seems to me the demands of the modern economic social setup are such that prioritizing one's various duties is very difficult. Women in particular face many difficulties necessitated by a demanding work week coupled with family duties. 75% of American women work full-time in addition to their other duties to family and community. Limited time and energy creates many conflicts in duty. So, if I have to speak on this subject, it will not be on duty that I will be speaking, I will be speaking on the American way of life. Which clears complication in the duties. So, in such a situation, one has to reflect and then come to one's own conclusion about priorities. If a woman marries a man marries a woman on the specific understanding that both of us will have to work, otherwise we cannot have a good time. See? If only one works, one stays at home, the income will be less. We cannot have the same good time as both. If both make money, perhaps. If that is the understanding on which marriage is made, then both work, and they make more money, and in the process maybe they lose the real joy of good old-fashioned life. She has no time to cook a nice dinner, so she has to depend upon a minute rice and instant soup and everything immediately. So because he comes late from work, she also comes late from work, and afterwards there is no time. So this poor man never really gets an old-fashioned meal as his mother used to cook for him. Mother used to cook for him. Yes. And what happens, and when he says, look here, I've never eaten a meal as mother used to cook. So she develops a resentment against her mother-in-law. Look, he always criticizes me and finds me not coming up to the mark in contrast with his mother. So she develops a resentment which leads to other complications. And so if you cannot eat the cake and have it too, that is the situation. If you want to have the benefits of both people working, you can't have the old-fashioned benefits of one person looking after one front and the other person trying to look after the other front. If both work, one front is neglected. And so, they have a house, and every day they come back to a house, but they don't have a home. She also comes back to the house, he also comes back to the house. House and office, office and house. They don't have a home. Perhaps they have a home at weekend, but they are too tired. See? So these are... So regarding the complication of duties, there are certain things that have been said eternally about duty of human beings in their own circumstances and setup. But when you take two human beings in a specific situation and setup, there you have to see in what way that concept of duty may have to be slightly modified but not discarded. You cannot discard it. May have to be slightly modified in order to fit in to this situation which willy-nilly we have to live with. So naturally when you say both have to work and they are what duties to this community, the society, duties at home, each to the other, one to the other, each other. But it's very interesting. American society has solved many of its problems. See? Otherwise, normally, in olden times, the son or daughter always had duty towards the parents. But now, by and large, the moment the son or daughter marries, they move away, start house of their own. So the parents are left to fend for themselves. And it would have been worse, but fortunately in America, you have got senior citizens pension and then special pension for those who are no more working, and insurance, all these things. So this whole system mitigates the unfortunate negative effects of parents being left to themselves, all the other children living on their own. Otherwise, in ancient times, it was felt a duty of son and daughter to look after their aged parents. The parents were kept in the house, they were looked after, served with great love and great reverence. In China it used to be so. But in changed circumstances, at least when the parents are in need and they ask you to come and help them, one should not become upset and oh bother. One should not say like that. One should be gracious enough to accept that parents have done a great deal when we were helpless infants, and therefore we owe something to them when they are helpless in their old age. So, in this way. Otherwise, in the changed circumstances, one has to work out one's specific duties, wherein one's priority lies, taking into consideration all the factors that go to make up that specific situation. It will not be the same for all, it will be different for different people, and so one has to work out one's own priorities, taking into consideration all the factors that go to make up the specific situation. And then, in the light of that study and situation, they have to allot priorities and see whether any of the concepts of duty could even be set aside for some time. They have given, but the principle, the main principle that ought to be always kept before us is the whole concept of duty is, it hinges upon one's ability to be unselfish. Okay? One's ability to be unselfish. It is only when you can renounce selfishness and self-centeredness, you will be able to think in terms of duty, and you will be able to really fulfill duties and obligations. That is the whole thing. And the positive side of that is you must know there is a value in life called giving of oneself, giving of one's time, one's energy, one's strength, oneself. It is called exercising Christian charity, giving of oneself. This itself, in itself, is a value. So if you are able to approach life with the desire and with the idea of regarding life as a great opportunity, as a privilege, where you have the occasion to give up oneself and say, this self-offering of myself is itself a noble, ideal, then the concept of duty becomes clear, and it is seen to be one of the ingredients in attaining self-realization and liberation. Because the greatest granite obstacle to attaining liberation or God realization is to cling to the self, not wishing to give up this peculiar thing that has come into our consciousness, the ego principle, which really is a spurious thing. Upon deep analysis, it will be found to be a purest thing, a will of the wisp, with no real substantial existence of its own. But it becomes so substantial that everything becomes secondary, this becomes primary. And when you are thus obsessed and possessed by the ego sense, then liberation is far away. Because this is the actual bondage, this is samsara. See, the I is that your, the I itself is your bondage, I itself is your samsara, I itself is the net in which you are caught, I itself is the prison house in which you are imprisoned. See? And if you don't see it like that, and you think it is something most precious, most desirable, has to be protected and has to be kept up, then you will never move towards liberation. You will always live and die in bondage. And it is a sense of the concept of duty, concept of yajna, that shows you a way of making life itself a process of gradually dissolving this ego principle, getting rid of this incubus, this bondage. If you begin to see the concept of duty and this ideal of self, giving of oneself for the benefit of others as a very wisely formulated method, it is not a sudden intense leap to liberation through yoga and practice and renunciation and monasticism, but it is a gradual process of moving towards liberation and getting liberated totally. Therefore, one begins to see that this idea of duty is not simply a big weight placed upon our shoulders, but it is a concept, there is a pathway to liberation. The less we think of ourselves, the more we are moving towards liberation. See? We are constantly rooted in thinking upon ourselves, we are far away from liberation. Because I is the great obstacle, I is the great enemy. Duty, charity, giving, yajna, all these things are so many ways of gradually thinning out the ego, giving it out and becoming liberated. It is a liberation of oneself from oneself first. the starting of liberation. Then duty is not seen as a bitter pill, as an imposition. But then it also has its own complications. If you want thus to try to get liberation and try to live up to this ideal of duty and all that, the world is can be so nasty. They will fully exploit you, the kindness, and then almost kill you by asking you to do this, do that, because you are willing to do. So, in this difficult world, a person is too docile and too difficult. Other people will certainly, you ride on your shoulder and therefore what to do, how to do it. So Ramakrishna would say, you must be a person of duty, but you must not be a fool. See? So if people are trying to take advantage of your sense of duty and all that, you must be able to realize where you are being exploited, and then cry hard. Then you will not be failing in your duty. See? So you are not expected to be you must be wise also. God has given you common sense. Don't allow people to exploit you, take advantage of you. So, be a good person, be dutiful, be willing to oblige and to help others. But see that knaves don't take advantage of you, they exploit you. So be wise also. And so both must go together. Hari Mahamantra Kirtan, Mrityunjaya Mantra Japa, Ram Ram and prayers, peace of the whole world, welfare and happiness of entire mankind. Special prayers for the early recovery from illness of our beloved Marcus, who is in the intensive care unit. And also for the peace and Sadgati, beatitude of the departed soul, who is the one who passed on this morning, yesterday, on the 25th. What is the first name? Ethel. Ethel Weigel. Ethel Weigel. Whose mother she was?
Mother-in-law, my brother's mother.
Ethel Weigel, who has passed on, called on the 25th. May the Lord take the departed soul unto Himself and grant eternal rest. And prayers on behalf of all those who may be in need of prayers for whatsoever reason it may be. Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara
Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara
शिव शंकरा शिव शंकरा शिव शंकरा
शिव शंकरा शिव शंकरा शिव शंकरा
बोल शंकर भगवान की जय। हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरि ओम राम 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 त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ 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 त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। हरि ओम। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। something. Or
You are right.
just the give the prasad.
Yes. Yes. Smaller.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Om It looks like it's being made in our kitchen downstairs.
This was made by Rose.
Oh, biscuits has been made, and the centerpiece also made by her. The gem, the ruby in the center. Jam hearted. Thank you. Thank you. Well, this is for you. Plenty of,
Thank
thank
you.
And Vrindavan, you want to offer something to Swami?
And what was that prasad that Linda had brought from Japan yesterday? You know, it was very, very deceptive because for all the life of me I thought it was wrapped in some bamboo leaf or something. You know? Looking just like a leaf. So then I found it was paper. Wonderful. Wonderful. I am told that your visit to us is quite brief. And when is your return?
Sunday morning.
This Sunday. It will be the 7th. Thank you. I am getting prettier and ever prettier paperback.
Cosmos. There's a beautiful picture of you in Himalayas with Cosmos. In blossom all
You are right. You are right. Standing in its
the
cosmos.
field of Cosmos.
Look here. Is it from different people?
No, they're all from
Koyama family.
They're very fine. Please read that later. You can open this one.
Thank you, thank you. I'm doing many things at the same time. Like Chinese juggler.
Let's go. Furoshiki.
Tokiwa. Tokiwa is a chain store, I think. Important.
It's not so bad. Oh, it is only.
Save this paper. Lord. Only some miracle or other is there. Highly personal. Om Shri Swami Chidananda. Is it a cap or a scarf or
It's called furoshiki in Japanese. It's a square. And they use it to wrap auspicious things before presenting to other people. Books or
Oh, yeah. You know, in India also, religious scriptures are always wrapped up in satin. Nowadays they use satin. They use it to wrap up gift.
offering that's made up in the altar. It's wrapped in foil. I thought you could find some practical use for it.
Why? I'll wrap myself in it. Because you know, what am I? If not present of Guru Maharaj too, huh? See, Guru Maharaj is presented me. Huh? Inasmuch as you have personalized it, huh? See?
And for me, it was the first opportunity for the embroiderer
Uh-huh.
to write oil. So she also got a wonderful opportunity.
Now, if your video wishes it, so you are. You see, you know what, huh? If next time you make it put on all the four corners, no matter where I tie it, it will always be there. But anyway, I am glad you have initiated the embroiderer into
next time she will-
Likit Japa for once. But if it is done with full faith, once it is enough. Liberation is started. Is the lady?
Yes.
But what is this material?
It's silk.
Japanese. Okay. So, babushka? You see, this is all wonderful. She's making me ready for visiting Edmonton and all that in November. See? At least it will protect my ears from the chill wind of Alberta. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, you want to make me go that way? Thank you. How beautiful these flowers are. Oh. Please. Yes, I have to see you before you go. You will take that. God bless you. He sometimes wants me to raise my hand up.
No, I finished the film. But the flash didn't work always.
So in America for some more time.
When I put it in front of the light, the flash doesn't work.
Om Tat Sat. Bless you. Narayana. Gita has got Lord Krishna here. And how did Lord Buddha come? He has come in before that. Did Dhammapada come because of Buddha, or Buddha came because of Dhammapada? How did Buddha come? Is it Buddha, isn't it?
Divine Mother.
Oh!
He
Divine Mother?
Janaki, I think.
I must take a look at it. Yes. I wonder where it is. Because it is not from a shrine. It is from some museum. What is it called in Japan?
Furoshiki.
Furoshiki. Is it a Japanese term?
Yes, one.
Furoshiki. Good night. Good night. Have a nice night.